Dobrý den, vítejte na mém kanále Czech by Zuzka, kde vám pomocí angličtiny vysvětluju českou gramatiku. Today we will take a look at the difference between mě and mě or mne as well. Let's get started. All these forms mean me. So how to translate me in Czech? You can probably guess that if you want to translate me, we need to take into consideration different forms, different cases. One of the forms would be mě, M-E with háček. Another form would be M-N-E. And another form is mne. So you can see that these three forms are very similar. For example, mě and mně sound identical. And mě and mne look very similar. Not to mention there is also a third form, my. We'll also look at that. But for now, let's focus on the difference between mě and mě. The good thing is when you speak, you won't have to deal with the difference because they sound identical. There is no way to differentiate mě and mě when speaking. The sound is the same. The challenging part is when you write it. So for example, when you write a message or an email, it would not look so good if you interchange these forms. So what does it depend on? Let's have a look at the first sentence. Nechoď tam beze mě. Don't go there without me. Nechoď tam beze mě. This is the genitive case, in case you would like to know. The next sentence, počkáš na mě, will you wait for me? Počkáš na mě is accusative case. And you can see these forms are identical. Mě and mě. Genitive and accusative have the same form. Mě to neříkej. Don't say this to me. Mě to neříkej. This is the dative case. And you can see there is a different spelling for the dative. Mluvíte o mě? Are you speaking about me? This is the locative case because of the preposition o. Also spelled as M-N-E with háček. So you can see that genitive and accusative have the same form. Dative and locative have the same form. We have an alternative. We can also use mne for the genitive and accusative. You could easily replace these by M and E, mne. They sound different. Mě versus mne. Mě, mne. But the difference is mne is formal. It's archaic actually. We would not use it so much. So you might still see it, but not very often. I myself don't really use it. You don't have to worry about it. But it's good to keep in mind that it exists. And remember, it's only for genitive and accusative case. Now, we also have me form. And this one is possible for the dative case. When we use mě in this form, M-N-E with háček, it's a form that we use for emphasis. This means that the pronoun is at the beginning of the sentence or isolated from the verb. So here we are emphasizing mě to neříkej. Don't say this to me. Řekni to jemu. Say this to him. I could also say don't tell me this and I could use this form, but I would have to change the words around. Neříkej mi to. That would be the other option, neříkej mi to. And as you can see, me would have to be right next to the verb, in this case after. We could also have it before, but not as the first word of the sentence. I could say, teď mi to neříkej. No, don't tell me now. Teď mi to neříkej. Teď mi to neříkej. But we cannot start with me. Mi to neříkej is incorrect. That's why we have to use this specific form, mě. The locative case is easy because it has only one possible option, M and E. If you'd like to learn more about the cases, I would like to invite you to check my new book about Czech grammatical cases. It's not just a textbook where you can learn this topic, for example, and more pronouns. You will be able to learn different forms of nouns, adjectives, pronouns, and numerals. in the study tables. And I explain everything here in the main book. Now, let's look at some exercises. Let's take a look at these 5 sentences and complete them with mě, mne, mě or my. You can pause the video while you work on these sentences and then you resume once you're ready. And we're gonna complete it together. Now, těšíš se na... Are you looking forward to me? Těšíš se na mě. That's how it's gonna sound. The question is, which one are we going to use? Těšit se na always takes the accusative case, so it would be na mě. Another option would be the archaic mne. Těšíš se na mne, but I would never use it. You might hear it in old movies, for example. Second, they give it to me. Give something to someone requires the dative, which means mi. Dej mi to. Dej mi to. The third one, mě to nezajímá. I'm not interested in this. Mě to nezajímá. So how are we going to write it? Mě or mě? Zajímat also takes accusative, so it would be mě. Mě to nezajímá. Let me add here. Accusative, dative, accusative. And again, you can say mne to nezajímá. Neboj se. Don't be afraid of me. Neboj se always needs the genitive case. Bát se, to be afraid. So it would be spelled the same, M-E as the accusative. And again, we could say nebojte se mne. Můžeš jít po. This is a preposition that needs the locative case. Locative always needs to have a preposition. Můžeš jít po mně. We would write it this way. Perfect. We could also use mě in this sentence, but it would be better to move things around. If I want to emphasize, give this to me, I could say mě to dej. Mě to dej. Give this to me, not to anybody else. Mě to dej. Or dej to mě. We could also have it at the end. Dej to mě. You make an emphasis when you read it. Mě to dej. Dej to mě. Whereas this is just dej mi to. Dej mi to. The emphasis is more on to. Once again, you will be able to learn all of this here. In this ebook, I discuss not only how to form different cases, but also how to spot them, like what are the keywords and prepositions. Let me know how you like this topic, and if you have any questions, write a comment. To je všechno. Mějte se krásně. Ahoj!